Yeah, just to give you some background, we're the PakPassion.net. I think you spoke to us before. We're one of the oldest fan-based websites on the internet, and we are solely dedicated to Pakistani cricket and generally cricket. And हम लोग काफी लोगों को इंटरव्यू वगैरह करते हैं. In fact, we spoke to your elder brother, the legend Hanif Mohammad as well. And we had a really interesting conversation with him about his career and and stuff. So we thought the next thing to do is to go down that order and also speak to other brothers. So if you don't mind, we have some questions we have collected from our members. And I just want to start you off with essentially some memories from your childhood. I just want to ask you about your early years as a cricketer. Why did you decide to play cricket, and how was it growing up in a household with the great Hanif Mohammad as your elder brother?
Well, I only followed the suit really. Ever since I was a child, I heard my elder brothers, Wazir, Rais and Hanif and their friends, and they always been talking about cricket, and they've been playing and we've been watching, and even at home we drink, sleep and eat cricket all the time. So obviously cricket was the game I was going to follow once I grow up. So myself and Sadiq was my younger brother, 3 years younger than me. We just followed the suit really. And this happened just after the partition, when we migrated from India to Pakistan, and we lived in the early days in Karachi, and we've been playing. The cricket was the only thing we talked about in the house. We played with a tennis ball with our elder brothers and with our friends and whatnot. So this was the beginning of career.
Right. And I mean, in terms of your role model, would you say Hanif Bhai was your role model in that way, or?
Well, Hanif at that stage, in the early 50s, Hanif Mohammad was the wonder boy of Pakistan. He was well talked about, and like Imran Khan nowadays, or Hanif Mohammad was the cricketer that Pakistan has produced, or it's been recognized by. Anyway, Wazir Bhai, Rais Bhai was the most influential in our career, in my elder brother.
Right.
Rais Mohammad, who always had time to play with us, myself and Sadiq and our other cousins who are same age as us. So he always devoted his time to all the youngsters, and so we owe it a lot to Rais Bhai and then to Hanif or Wazir Bhai. So this is how we brought up.
Right. Tell me, I mean, from your record, as everybody knows that you played your first Test match at a very young age. I mean, you're 15 years old, and you're facing up to one of the fastest bowlers of that era, Wes Hall. How was that experience? What was your maturity like? And just take us through a bit of that experience.
Yeah, I played against the West Indies and at Peshawar. It was a 3-day match, and I was chosen to play, and I think I got about 50 odd runs against them. And we were after the match ended in a draw. This was a 3-day match. I bowled 1 or 2 overs as well, and the game is all over. Next day, early in the morning, we boarded the train from Peshawar. We were going to Karachi. It was a couple of day and night journey, and so it's about 8 o'clock in the evening. Lahore came on the way, and a lot of our senior cricketers like Alimuddin Wakaras and Muhammad Munaf and and many others who were playing in Pujara. They got off the train at Lahore, and there were local organizers were there to receive them, and they taken all this. So one organizer inquired that who's Mushtaq Mohammad, and they said, oh, he's sleeping up there on the upper berth in the train. So they got me down anyway, and I got my things together and said, you are in the 14 of this World Cup, and the 14 selected for this World Cup. Not World Cup. What am I talking? Test match.
Really, see, good. Yeah.
Yeah, the test match, and he said, fine. And they got me. Everybody, after a while, disappeared, went their own direction, and I was left there on my own. And this organizer, he said, why don't you go home as well? And I said, look, I live in Karachi and this is Lahore. I don't know anyone here. I've never been to Lahore and this is my first time and you got me off the train and now you're telling me to go home? The train has already left. So he said, no, in Lahore, don't you know anyone? Can't you stay with your friends or your relations or anyone? And I said, I told you this is my first time in Lahore and I don't know. He said, your two elder brothers are here. And I said, yes. And they are here. They've been coming here for a long time. So he said, go and stay with them. I said, I don't know where they are. Because in those days, I'm talking now 1957, 58.
Right.
In which Pakistan team, when they played at home series, they never stayed in hotels.
Right.
They stayed with relations, either their own house or with the relations or with some friend's house. Anyway, they found one of my brothers called Mushtaq Mohammad. He stayed in Mazan somewhere.
Right.
And he stayed with a friend of his, some major somebody, I don't know his name. And these people took me there. By the time we reached there, it was 12:30 in the morning. I was at night, or in the morning you could say. And he was surprised to see me and said, what am I doing at midnight, you know? I said, what are you doing? And I said, no, they got me off the train. And this organizer then explained everything, why I was taken off. And anyway, next morning I was asked to attend the net. So I attended the net at Lawrence Garden, Bagadina.
Right.
And I was in my own cricket gear, what I used to play with, same white shirt and trousers, and I played with the Bata shoes. You know, Bata was
Yes,
at 10
yes.
rupees, you go and buy Bata white shoes.
Right.
And that's all I had. And Fazal Mahmood was a captain. He had one good look at me and he said, young man, you haven't even got the gear to play. How are you going to play a test match? I said, I don't know. I never thought of this. They just got me off the train. I haven't got anything else but these. He said, your brothers are here. Borrow some gear from your brothers. So anyway, I borrowed Hanif Muhammad's shoes and his shirt, but his trouser wouldn't fit me, so they let me wear my own trouser. And this is how I played my first test match against the West Indies. It was very eventful incident.
Wow.
And what happened, and I was there in the net for a couple of days, along with Intikhab Alam was another youngster, Ashraf Rahman was another leg spinner, and there was Muhammad Rahman from Bahawalpur. He was another leg spinner. So the four leg spinners were bowling in the net at a time in the net at a time against a player like Saeed Ahmed or Imtiaz Ahmed and all big guns of Pakistan. in those days.
Wow.
And we all were bowling, and I turned out to be the best bowler, and they picked me out of the four. And they gave me an ultimatum, and said, you got to produce the proper pair of cricket shoes with the spikes in it, and then you're going to produce a proper gear. You're going to play, because there was you just got to use on your own, you see. Even shirt, pants, trousers, boots, you name anything, it's got to be your own. But cricket board will not provide anything because they didn't have anything.
My God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, I borrowed everything from my brother and all. I turned up and I played, and so that this is how I played. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, following on from that, so some of our members have listed some of your best innings. I mean, and one person's asked, basically, they say, which 100 was better? Was it the 121 at a fast Sydney wicket against Lilly, Walker and Massey, or was it the 121 against the West Indies against, likes of Roberts, Croft and Garner on a relatively slow wicket in Port of Spain? Which is the inning that stands out bigger? I mean, these were the two fastest bowlers of their, fastest bowling teams of their time.
Well, they were. They both had more or less a similar feeling behind it, because when I got 121 in 1973,
right,
against Australia, that was my first tour. And Australia, and that was my first tour of Australia. I never been to Australia.
right.
And Hanif was telling me, he said, because Hanif been to Australia in 1964-65 and he scored a lot of runs over there.
Right.
He played 6 innings, scored 500. And he said, Mushi, if you're going there, I wish you all the best and do well. The ball, it's a quick wicket, it's bouncy wicket, and you would love batting on it. And he said, make most of it and, try to score as many runs as possible because you're going to love it. And it's a lovely place to play cricket. So those words were ringing in my ear all the time.
Right.
And when I went to Australia, and then the first 2 test matches went by, and I didn't get many runs, and I said, well, we're coming to the end of the test series here, and I haven't did anything significantly to be remembered.
Right.
And then and that because of so much hype about the Australian, the best team in the world, and the best cricketer like Thompson, Chappell brothers, and Rodney Marsh, Lilly, Thompson, and whatnot. They were like gods of cricket in those days. And on top of that, it is in Australia. And on top of that, I was told to perform by my elder brother Hanif that you got to make, century was there in one of these test matches. And those all the things pressurized me, and I said, well, I got it. And that 100, when it came at Sydney,
Right.
and it is not only for my own tribe that I scored 100 against Australia, against Australia in Australia, but we put Pakistan into a winning position. And we were going to win the test match at Sydney for the very first time. And all that. And then we bowled, I think, Australia out, and we were batting in the second inning, and we collapsed.
Oh.
And we were chasing, 157 runs, or something like this to
Right.
win. And they bowled us out for 107, or I don't know, you can check.
Right. Yeah. That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, and it was heartbreaking. I forgot about my 100, and I said, how can we lose this test match? We only wanted 160 odd runs to win it, and it would have been our first win in Australia. And I was in tears. Most of us were. And it was when we lost it, even the opposition, the Australians, they felt for us that would have meant for us.
Right.
I remember Greg Chappell telling me, he was Greg Chappell, Ian Chappell, Greg Chappell, I feel sorry for you lads. And he said, well, you got to win it. Test matches is one of those things you got to win it. Nobody can want to give you on the plate. These were their words, and I said, yeah, you're very right. And all this, this is what he said. Anyway, we lost that. We came home and very disheartened and all this. But one thing, I got 100 there on that trip.
Yeah, yeah.
So that 100 against Australia, my first 121, this is how I remember it.
Right.
But the other 100 against West Indies was in 1977, I think.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I was under pressure, a lot of pressure. In 1977, we first toured against Australia again. We finished, so we won the last test match at Sydney. And so from there we flew to West Indies. We went to West Indies and we played there. Barbados test match, we should have won that. Had they not cheated. The umpires were terrible. And can you imagine Andy Robert and Murray as Eric Murray.
Right.
They blocked it 14 overs, the mandatory 14 overs on the last day. I could see the picture in front of me. God knows how many times we hit their pads, and they were perhaps been out they each were out about half a dozen times. But the umpire said to me, he said, Muji, you see those 3 stumps? I said, yeah, over there. He said, well, one of them has to be hit. You want to win the test match.
Oh my gosh.
He said, I said, but there's a man before that, between that. Between the ball and the stump, there's a man standing there, and it keeps hitting his pass. And the rules say if it's in line, he should be given out. He said, not only not in my life. He said, if I give that out, tell me that we had this, they'll burn my house. Douglas, somebody called Douglas umpire. You can check the.
Yeah. That's really interesting.
The
really.
Chinese umpire.
Right.
And he said, if I get that out, they'll be end of me. They'll burn me. They'll burn my family. They'll burn my house. He said, you gotta hit one of those stumps.
Wow.
And anyway, they went in a draw, and then the second test match came along. We should have won that. That was a Barbados test match.
Right.
And the second test match we played, I think they won it. West Indies won it. And so as the tour went on, and I was again feeling the pressure, having been deprived of winning the first test match and started the tour with a bang in West Indies, would have made a lot of difference to Pakistan team, and perhaps we would have gone to win the series, but it wasn't to be, and we were just unfortunately had to settle for what we were thrown at, The other test match, the second test match, West Indies won at Trinidad, and then we went to Guyana. That test matches drew, and they came back at Trinidad again to play the fourth test match. And the test match was, again, that was the best Pakistan cricket team I had under me. And there were some individual names like Mushtaq Mohammad and Nawaz, Wasim Bari, and
And that's really the who's who of Pakistani cricket, isn't it?
Yeah, it was like Zahir and Majid and Asif and all. I said, look, there aren't better cricket. We had a good team meeting and all this, and I'm trying to motivate my team and make them realize that how good we are, and come on, we got to get up against this mighty West Indians and all this. They're not better than us. So I just told them all this. I said, look, Australians are far better than us. We beat them in Australia. So why can't we beat West Indies here? And you know that we should have won the first test match had it not been for the bad umpiring. We would have won it. So you don't pull yourself down, and you got to get yourself going, and keep yourself going, and believe in yourself that we got to win this test series. We've got to find to win a test match here. So obviously the boys were very talented, and the best Pakistan team ever gone abroad to West Indies up till that time.
Right.
And I think I managed to get 100 in the fourth test match. I was under a lot of pressure, and because I didn't score any runs in the first test match Barbados, second test match at Trinidad again I failed miserably, third test match at Guyana I got about 40 odd in one inning. It wasn't up to show. And, being a captain, I wasn't performing, and I was feeling very guilty about myself being in the team, and the team is slipping away and going down. So one of the meeting, I stood up and I said, look, there's a youngster in this team called Javed Miandar. He's been sitting out, and he's potentially a very good player and future for Pakistan. You will play him, and I will sit down because I'm not getting any runs, and let Asif Iqbal run captain this time. And then everybody didn't say anything but kept quiet, and we had a meeting. But when the meeting was over, and this Majid Khan came to my room and he said, are you mad? He said, you are our captain, and the captains are always a leader. We want you to be the leader, not the captain. And he motivated me in a very positive way. He said, you are going to play, and you're going to lead us. And so that gave me a lot of, encouragement.
Right.
And then somehow it just sparkle came into me, and I took that test match, and this is my match. I'm going to do something here. I had that feeling in my bones. And then God was great, He helped me. I got few runs, I got some wickets, and we ended up winning the test match. I got 121 in first inning and 50 odd in second. I got 5 wickets in the first inning and 3 in the second, and we bowled them out as well. And so everybody was overjoyed, and we were on equal terms with West Indies for the rest of the series.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent. Mushtaq, again, continuing down memory lane, the 77-78 India-Pakistan series, resumed after a long time, and for me personally, that's quite an interesting one, because that's the first time I went to see and I saw you play live with the likes of the big guns of Pakistani cricket.
Yeah.
What was that series like? Because fascinating to hear what the pressure was like, because this was happening after a long time, and I think a lot was riding on this.
Yes, the feeling was great, and the resumption of the test series between the two cricketing great nations, India and Pakistan, they couldn't get any bigger than that as far as India and Pakistan were concerned. We were just kept apart because of the politics, unfortunately. But the cricketers that came from that part of the world were always very talented and a lot to give to this game of cricket, which has proved itself. Nowadays, you see a player like Sachin Tendulkar, Sunil Gavaskar, Kapil Dev, Vishen Bedi, and we in Pakistan in Zamam, and you see Mia Dad, and you see Imran Khan, and Wasim Akram, Waqar Yunus, what a brand of cricketers there. And so just because of the politics, we were not allowed to play. But anyway, there is resumption after 20 years. My first tour of my cricketing career was to India in 1960.
Right.
And after that, and I was at that year 60-and-a-half-year-old. And I thought I'm going to play against India for the rest of my life. But it didn't turn out to be that way. I played my first, first tour to India. And when India came to Pakistan in 1978, after 20 years, and that really, all that time in between is being wasted. Not for me alone, but there are a lot of cricketers who, the time is wasted for them. They could have performed a lot better. They would have performed some remarkable, achievement would have been achieved by all these cricketers who were playing at that time, but we were deprived. However, leaving that aside, Bishan Singh Bedi was the captain, and I was captain of Pakistan team. And funny enough, since 1972-76, Bishan Singh Bedi and myself were playing county cricket for the same club. It's Northamptonshire. So we used to live next door to each other, more or less. And Bishan is being a wonderful friend.
Amazing.
And we still, talk on the phone, and we still keep in touch with each other. Whenever I go to Delhi, I stay with him. Whenever he comes to Birmingham, he come and visit me as well. So that friendship started growing since 1972, and we knew each other for the 6 years. And then what had happened in 78, Bishan brought the side over. And it couldn't have been better. Nobody could have written a better script than that the Bishan Singh Bedi was named Indian captain to bring the side over to Pakistan, and I was declared Pakistan captain. And everybody this was a lot to talk about, and they said they are two good friends, and I don't know how the series is going to be, and all. Everybody, all kinds of speculations were discussed and all this. But Bishan came to me and said, look, whatever happens in the field, just leave it there and bury it there, but we still are friends, after 6 o'clock. I said, yeah, Bish, that cricket is only monetary, but our friendship should go on forever. And this is how I directly played the game, and he played the game exactly the same way. Although we were very politically pressurized by the government and by the public and by the media, but we just made sure, myself and Bish, that this thing will not come between us.
Right.
We are greater, we are bigger than the media, we are bigger than the pressure of the public, we are bigger than the pressure of the politicians. Say, oh, जो कुछ हो जाए जी हमने इंडिया से नहीं आना, या जो कुछ हो जाए जी आप वहीं कत्ल हो के आ जाना, लेकिन पाकिस्तान से मत आना.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
इस किस्म की फीलिंग हमने रखी. अगर ऐसी फीलिंग हो भी, अनफॉर्चुनेटली जब भी इंडिया पाकिस्तान का मैच होता है, सबसे पहले ये कहते हैं कि जी इनसे नहीं आना, बोला नहीं जाना है. अगर ऐसी फीलिंग है ये, तो आप खेली ना,
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
खेलने की क्या जरूरत है? मतलब है आप जब तक आपस में खेलेंगे नहीं तो आपके ताल्लुकात कैसे बढ़ेंगे?
सही बात, agree.
How are you gonna produce future cricketers? How are you gonna have a good relation, tie up good relations for the future? Cricket is the क्या कहना चाहिए आपको, जिसकी वजह से दो मुल्क मिलते हैं, हजारों पब्लिक टेलीविजन पे देखती है, ग्राउंड पे देखती है, तो इसको सही इस्तेमाल करें आप। हार जीत तो है क्रिकेट की, मतलब पार्ट ऑफ द गेम, but we did play and that was one of the most memorable series I have played.
Right.
And yes, we thoroughly enjoyed it.
Great. Acha, one other thing I wanted to ask you, and this is slightly a bit more controversial. I don't really want to touch on this, but people have asked, is that the circumstances under which you were removed from captaincy. I mean, I would have thought. I mean, again, I'm a young person and compared to our experience that. Someone of your caliber should have had a better farewell than what you saw. What were your thoughts on that?
Yes, I did say in my book as well that there were very mysterious circumstances under which I came and sort of withdrew myself, not resigned, withdrew myself from the captaincy, and having been to come here in 1979 for the World Cup, I withdrew myself to give a youngster a chance called Harun Rashid.
Right.
नहीं हुआ ये कि since I got the captaincy in 1976, every series we played, we grew from strength to strength and we played and we were a good unit, we were united, every individual was performing for themselves and for the team eventually. We were producing results against Australia, then West Indies, and there was the best two cricketing tours of my life. The cricket and the quality of cricket we played, and the amount of cricket we played, and the results we brought was the pinnacle of my life. I would say there was the best time I ever had on a cricket field, on and off, and. That continue and क्या था आपका क्वेश्चन?
जी वही मैं पूछा था कि circumstances.
ये सब कुछ हो रहा था. I was getting popular as a captain, and then we will start winning the match. Then India came to Pakistan and we won that two dramatical test matches, one at Lahore, one at Karachi and all this. So apparently I was being considered against Abdul Hafiz Qazar, who was up till then was the best captain Pakistan had ever produced.
Right.
And he was well talked about. He was very disciplinary, and he's done good and wonders for Pakistan cricket, both as a player and as a captain and as an administrator. We needed a person like Abdul Hafiz Qazar, who was well educated and a good cricketer. And he wanted to see Pakistan cricket grow, and he wanted to bring some good youngster to carry on the good work he has left behind. And we are grateful to him. And we carried on and all this, but fortunately I had a very, very good team under me, all individual cricketers. Half of them were playing in county cricket here and were performing well. They were the best players in the world at that time, and I had the privilege to lead them. And we have produced a lot of good results. So all the senior players like Asif, Majid, Bari, Zahir, Imran, and they, unfortunately, for no reason at all, why they ganged up against me, and they started talking. He said, well, his performance in all this progress for last 2-3 years, we've been winning, and we've been well talked about, and we are one of the best team. He said, all because we have performed on the field. And Mushi has done nothing.
Yeah.
And this was the jealousy, the professional jealousy came in. I wrote this about this incident in my book as well.
Right.
And I said, this is exactly what had happened, and this is what I felt, and I was very much hurt that I was let down by the people who put me on the top.
Right.
And they are the same people who are going to throw me off the cliff and say, you're no longer needed, all that performance in the past because of us, and you were just a part of it. And that hurts. I had that kind of feeling in me, and I said, I don't want to be the part of that team who feels that I'm a passenger.
Right.
And I'm just, जो हम गिनती में शुमार हो गए. I don't want to be that rotten furniture inside. I played with great pride. I performed, and I played on my merits. And I don't want कोई मुझे मेहरबानी वाली क्रिकेट खिलाए.
Right.
If they think, they were a lot younger than me. You see all these names I took, and they were so they obviously thought we don't need him, we are the one who's producing on the field and performing on the field, and the results are very positive and all this, all because all the senior cricketers are performing on the field, and that's why the results are there. And the time has come just to say thank you very much. And, I enjoyed my time. And at the age of 36, the cricket wasn't my future either.
Right.
So when they picked the 1979 World Cup team, I was again made captain and to England and all this. And I said, look, my type of bowling, the slow leg spin bowling, is not required in the one day international, one day World Cup. You need a youngster, a medium pace bowler, or a fast bowler, or a guy who should be about 10 years younger than me, and Harun Rashid was one of them, very good youngster. And I said, he was left out of sight, and I said, if I step down, he can come in. And God is my witness, I only did because of that.
Right.
Now the people said you were the most biggest fool in the world. Nobody has done it. Who are you? You were trying to be whiter than white? And he said, well, वो कोई कहना अपने पैरों पे खुद कुल्हाड़ी मारना.
हाँ नहीं, लेकिन आपने वो काम किया जो कि आजकल पाकिस्तान में कोई नहीं कर पाया, कि इज्जत के साथ छोड़ना.
जी, तो बस मैंने वो कर दिया जी. Back in Pakistan cricketers.
बिल्कुल.
And we playing the World Cup, and we want to win the World Cup. We are good enough side. And I said, no, Harun Rashid will make more difference than me will he be inside. I'm 36 years old, no good. And the cricket wasn't my future anyway.
Yeah.
So
Achha.
I left county cricket at Southampton. I was going to go and work for Pakistan, PIA in Birmingham, which I eventually joined PIA here. And worked for them for 17 years ever since. And so This was the answer to your question.
Right, I may say. Actually, the other thing I wanted to ask you, I mean, I guess, thoda bahut coming back into the current what's happening now. थोड़ा बता बोले, what's your preference? I mean, आजकल कोच की बहुत बातचीत चल रही है. Especially, I mean, one thing I will actually just get a quick reaction of you is you mentioned pretty much player power basically, which was involved in आपका basically you leaving, I would say prematurely. I mean, as a Pakistani fan, I pretty much tears in my eyes when I heard that you were not going to be around, But I'd say that player power, has just lived through this thing. Is this some kind of Pakistani trait? है या आप बोलेंगे कि this is a weakness of the board? Yeah, it's just the quality of the people.
वो player power trait बन गया क्योंकि हम when I was captain, we took up the argument against the cricket board, and Abdul Hafiz Kaza was the chairman of PCB and a great man, a great pillar of Pakistan cricket and all this, and our argument was that we were going to West Indies and Australia, and I said to them we have to be भूल गया मैं वो कारदार साहब ये जो आर्ग्यूमेंट हुई तो हमने उनसे कहा कि $5 only $5 is to give us more for our laundry, $5 a week, and then maybe we were what about $35-40 a week हमको मिलते थे, in which we have evening meal and they look after our own laundry and things like this. So what used to happen in 72-73 tour, the सुबह तो आपने मैच खेला जी 11 बजे से लेके 6 बजे तक, आप फिर होटल में आ गए, and then you had a little rest and all this, and you had a meal somewhere, and then you come back and then you're washing your clothes because next day you need them. So we're sitting in a bloody laundry,
right,
and washing our clothes and all this. And I said, well, we're a bloody international side. Why are we doing this? Some of the boys were washing their clothes in the hotel.
Right.
I said, well, it's got to change. So when 76 में हम जब जा रहे थे, तो ये हमने उनसे 77 में हम जब जा रहे थे तो हमने उनको कहा कि ये हमारे साथ हुआ था and we don't want this to be repeated, and they give us $5 more per week so we can have our washing done in the hotel, by the hotel.
Right.
उस जमाने में कोई इतनी महंगाई नहीं थी,
जी जी,
वो बहुत $5 पर वीक आप देने, आप मतलब हमारी जान को तो आराम है, एक तो पूरे दिन क्रिकेट खेल के आओ, ऊपर रात को आके कपड़े धो. Stupid. He won't buy it. A man of his stretches, the man of his experience, and I'm talking to a man who put Pakistan on the map, on the world map. He being the first captain, and I had so much respect for him. And I said, I'm talking to almost a god of Pakistan cricket, and I have so much respect for him. And he's arguing with me for not giving us $5 extra for laundry. And that argument broke up from then on. And then we were playing New Zealand in Pakistan, and there was a test match at Hyderabad, in which there were two teams tonight. The the New Zealanders were the tourists, but Pakistan had two teams over there, and there were about 40 players. And because we tried not to play. And Kazar came, and I remember Kazar came in cycle rickshaw at 7 o'clock in the morning to persuade me to take the team on the field. And I said, we used to call him a skipper. I said, skipper, it's only a matter of $5. And and it's well spent and all this. ये आप क्या कर रहे हैं? आप ऐसा क्यों? मुझे से शर्म आ रही है कि आप रिक्शा में बैठ के मेरे पास आए, आप मुझसे मिलने। आप ऐसा क्यों कर रहे हैं? तो कहने लगे आपको पता नहीं है कि ये $1 भी पाकिस्तान गवर्नमेंट से लेना कि वो आपको लाइक टेकिंग ब्लड आउट ऑफ स्टोन। आई फुली अप्रिशिएट योर प्रॉब्लम, बट ये आपने यू हैव टू फाइट। आई एम सिंपली रिप्रेजेंटिंग ए पाकिस्तान टीम।
Right, right.
And you're the best man. And we back you, and you should go out and make statements in favor of Pakistan team rather than going out and saying that we are mercenaries. You know, that these kind of votes turn against us and then went public.
Wow.
So this is how the play power started.
Right, right. Yeah.
And then when we came back after Australia and West Indies, so it was just Kaza resign and all this, and then उसके बाद सब हर चीज नहीं होने लगी। फिर कितने हम प्लेयर रिटायर हो गए, मैं आसिफ इकबाल, फिर माजिद, फिर जहीर, ये भी एट अवर टाइम भी नए प्लेयर आ गए। इमरान खान नया कप्तान बन गया और ये हो गया मियाँदाद वाज द वंडर बॉय ऑफ पाकिस्तान एंड ऑल दिस। तो जैसे जैसे दिन गुजरते गए ऐसे ऐसी बातें भी नई नई सामने आती गई। तो उसके बाद जो दूसरे क्रिकेट बोर्ड आए, तो जो हमारे यंगस्टर थे उन्होंने जो देखा था, तो उन्होंने कहा कि जो हमारे सीनियर थे दे वर फाइटिंग फॉर अस।
Right, right.
And we are getting no cricket में तो कोई पैसे ही नहीं है। So what we were trying to do, that the cricket didn't have no money in those days, and all that full stadium and Karachi and Lahore and everywhere, the money coming in, but is not coming in right direction for the players' benefit. It was going into organizers' pocket.
Right, right.
And this is why we stood up as a senior cricketer, and I hope that our juniors will follow them, so they realize that. So they try to pick up this argument with the relevant cricket board of those days. And after Imran Khan was in charge, I think everything was felt well, because he's an educated guy and all this, and the people who used to run Pakistan cricket as administrators were also very sensible and sensitive about Pakistan cricket. But since then, unfortunately, Pakistan cricket went in the wrong hands and has been suffering ever since.
Right, right, right. अच्छा